wanted to just read this. I've put it on the previous video, some of it. I lived at one of the places where chemicals was used on me so much over the years was Affordable Corporate Suites. And the owner of those is Cooperman. His last name's Lance Cooperman. And the home office is here in Roanoke on 5520 Florist Road, Roanoke, Virginia, 24012. Let me say this. One of the first questions that's asked, if anybody wants to listen to it or cares to, is, well, why don't you move? Well, I have tried. Because of who I am and my kidnapping, my environment is controlled, and not to the better. They've used my illness against me, and I've put up where I ran on the political campaign, and I was flown out to Larry Flint's, that I wrote about mind control murders that were done in patterns and programming back in 76 to 80, April Fool Day, when I had antifreeze put in me. So that's just 1 or 2 days out of my life. It's been an ongoing slaughterhouse. But when I came to Roanoke in October the 20th, I believe, of 86, I'm allergic to chemicals. I have an immune disorder, which if I inhale certain chemicals or fumes or odors, makes my immune system attack itself. And it's if this is your home and you can't get away from it, or in my case, it's toxic anywhere I go. The law enforcement that's in charge of doing this, it's pre-planned, let me say that, where I go and all of it. So that's all I can say. That Edward Snowden only got the tip of the iceberg on all this. So anyway, I'm just going to skip to it because I get into trying to give a lot of information about it, and I'll just say this. My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers, and the twins were killed by their mother, Peggy and Carl. So they gave me the name stole my identity, the name of a dead person. And I grew up in hell, that's all I can say. But anyway, when I came up here to Roanoke, they totally used my illness, immune disorder, against me. Where I lived, it was always toxic to where I stayed sick, and the inflammation. That is what I've been treated for over the years, the inflammation, which the very medicine that they give you for that can cause kidney damage, etc., etc. The inflammation from inhaling the chemicals, if it's where you live and you can't get away from it, or they don't stop it, then you suffer the consequences, like I have. So let me just, because you have to breathe. So I want to go back to this and get this in. The way that got people to go along with it all, some people just loved it. They hate me because of what I've told about what's been done to me and what the government's into, the mind control. And I wrote about Emory and Center for Disease Control in that book, too. And that was back in 76. Specifically, I was researching cancer, I believe, and it was later when the AIDS came out that I was telling about the AIDS connection and the fact that it was genetically engineered deliberately. But anyway, I wanted to get to this. This is how they run. Man, I had, and I'm going to say this, and I'm just about dead because where I'm living now, I would have left this morning if I had a place to go because I thought I was dying. And I still don't feel good because of the chemicals that have been put in here. And you can't call the cops. You can't call law enforcement. So I want to go to this. What they've done, law enforcement has gotten where someone's broken the law, or they've threatened certain people, which would do it just because they want to. It's not okay for them to do it. For example, years ago, I tried living in a trailer that was a dump just have a place to live and take care of a teenage boy. And his uncle lived there, over at Hardy Trailer Park. And this is in Roanoke. And I was to stay there and make sure he walked up to school because he had if he didn't shape up and pass it, and part of this was that they had to hire me. Well, they didn't pay me any money. I ate out of an old freezer, those banquet dinners that had been frozen over for I don't know how long and were outdated. But anyway, that's really what happened. But the point was that the young man was going to court in juvenile court or court in Bedford. And part of the deal was that I had to go there and help with him, or he was going to go to jail. And this has happened in other cases that I know of. But in some of them, which is the one, a lot of them is like they can get the people that own the house, or if I was lucky enough to get a house or the apartment, everybody's got something to hide. So they get stuff on them, whether it's your kids have done smoked pot or whatever, anywhere, driver's license. But I wanted to read this because they have actually, and people don't want to hear it, and I quote an FBI up in Noe, up in Grottoes, when I still had the Hustler car, Larry Flint car, leased. Couldn't put gas in it. I didn't have any money. I was pumping gas, actually, in a convenience store owned by Reineckes in Grottoes. And Noe used to come in, the FBI agent, and he said they've made it so ludicrous that everybody knows you're telling them the truth. It gives them a chance to help or walk away. And he was talking about the FBI when he said that's who he worked for. But I just want to read this letter because it's been ongoing and it's sick. I mean, I've had housekeeping, and you think housekeeping is nice to have. Not if they come in the minute you walk out to the door to try to go for a walk or go to the market, and they soak your bedding, and you're rolling in it at night thinking you're dying, and you try to wash it the next day when you don't have the means or the money. And this is just an ongoing, and I keep praying, please, let me be able to live a few years in some kind of feeling safe and breathing fresh air and knowing where my kids are and they are safe, I hope. Here's the letter that was written. And mind you, I had been run from the place I just left to go here. I went back here. This is over the years because I'm run back here when I try to leave. This is affordable corporate suites. And let me say this before I go into reading, in case the time goes out. It's going to. When I moved in there, she was new manager. Her name's Debbie McKay, and she pulled the computer up and said, "This is my daughter. It's her prom dress." And she said to me, her name's Alexis. And what she was saying and said, and I'm not going to let them kill her, as in Alexis Murphy. Now, if anybody's listened to all this, Alexis Murphy was one of the abductions here in near Charlottesville, Virginia, University of Virginia. Now, here's the letter, and it's a lie. I mean, what they did to me, but I left because I've always paid the rent, but they said, I said, what if I bring the money up here to pay anyway? And she said, we'll have the law escort you off the property. Well, they had no right to do it, but they would have, so I left. May the 14th, 2014, Peggy Childers, Unit 115, Ms. Childers, as per our conversation, and this is a lie, I stated the cleaning supplies used could be detrimental to my health and could cause life-threatening situation because you have an immune. It's a disorder. We are unable to comply with your request. These are the people that come in and soak my bed with chemicals, and they use stuff on the floor. You'd have to see it. So all this has been one bloody lie throughout my life, and I'll quote a Brit on that. They all lied. I offered to buy them buy non-allergenic